A mobile grip is a phone accessory, fits pretty much any phone. You slide your phone in and it makes mobile gaming super easy. It has an ergonomic design. You can basically lock your phone into place. If you are interested in learning more, please visit mobilegrip.com. Don't forget to use code Lady Calysta for an extra 10% off. Hey guys, what's up? It's Lady Calysta. Today we're going to be talking about guild hive formations. Now I do have a video that talks about hive formations and more importantly whether or not you should hive, and I tried to basically present an argument around hiving versus not hiving. I personally am not a fan of hiving. I don't think it's something that is good for most players, especially if you are in guilds where you have a lot of smaller players. However, a lot of you guys made it loud and clear that you are big fans. You think it's super important to hive, in which case this video is for you, because I'm going to talk about the different ways that you can basically form your hives. Now this is the first type of hive formation, and I call this just clusters, right? So it will be typically anywhere between, let's say, 2 to 10 castles clustered together. Now I remember when I was in a kingdom a while ago, there was a French guild that had kind of 3 castles clustered together, 10 empty spaces all around, another 3 castles clustered together, and it just kept going on that way. And I cannot imagine the amount of time, effort, and cooperation it took to do something like that. So kudos to those guys. That's actually pretty smart because it's not easy to like solo everyone at the same time. This is another kind of cluster, a group of 5 to 6 castles, right? You can do it in any kind of shape that you want. But ultimately, I feel like the reason that players like this is so they can easily trade resources. Now, the easiest way to find different types of hives is if you go right around the base. In this case, let's assume that all these castles were from the same guild. This would not be a good formation. I don't even know what to call this. It's kind of like a scatter formation all in one centralized place. It looks like maybe once upon a time this was filled with castles, but as people have poured it out, moved out, maybe they were getting constantly burned, they kind of left those holes in there. Typically what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're setting up camps, right? You don't want to leave empty spaces. And the reason for that is then it becomes very easy for an enemy player to port in and start soloing. Now, if you're in a bigger guild, I'm thinking Steel Alliance big, most of your players are not going to be easy to solo, so having a hole here and there is not the end of the world. But if you are in a guild where most of you guys can be soloed, it is a bad idea. This third type of formation is one that I really like. It basically exists on an island, so you're basically secluding yourself by having water all around you. As you guys know, castles can't port to water. However, you see these guys are on fire, and I think the reason why is that they left gaps and holes in their island. So the smart thing to do would be, as players have ported out, to immediately put a camp there so that a player wouldn't easily be able to port in and attack, right? Instead, they would need to port to one of these outer edges, and it makes it a huge pain in the butt when you're short on time and you're looking for resources, leaders, or troops to have a really long march, right? And that helps dissuade attacks. And I feel like for that reason, this type of formation is a really good one. And you can see it looks like they're trying to take up most of the island space, which is really smart. But you have to be smart in terms of making sure that you're not leaving gaps. Now, this last type of guild hive formation is my least favorite for you guys. I really would love for you guys to stay away from this, or if you want to make it easier for me, stay in it. But this is kind of a hyper hive formation. The majority of the players are probably here together. You can see that every castle that is not shielded is burning, and that is going to just be how it's going to be, right? The reason, or the way that I was able to find this hive is an unshielded player in this hive actually attacked another castle. And this person was actually pretty low level. And I followed the march back, right? And this is going to happen, guys. This person decided to attack. Their, troops were walking normal. They weren't getting boosted back. And I went ahead and soloed this person, timed it, and I was able to get 140 dead on their side. So they lost almost 5 million mites. So that was not smart. And for 2 reasons. Number one, they were really high, overextending, attacking, and sending, and when they didn't have, obviously, hospital capacity, so that's not a good thing to do. And then they also gave me the cords to their hive because I followed the march back. So when you think about a player like me, this is like a gift, right? I'm like, oh wow, look at this, so many unshielded castles there, and they have a couple of big guys, right? So I'm just not going to solo them. They can't really do anything to me, to be perfectly honest. So that's why this type of formation really doesn't make sense, right? Because it's really easy to take and search and scout very quickly, and you're not forcing me to have to spend relocators. So if you think about a bigger player, what is really annoying? Well, it's really annoying to port around looking for heroes, kills, and resources. But if you put them all in one place, you make it like a gold mine for a larger player. So wanted to kind of provide this to you guys so you guys can kind of see the different options that you have available if you insist on hiving, kind of what not to do. Hopefully this was helpful, and as usual, thank you so much for watching.